Hey guys, and welcome along to This Week in Photography, in which I seek out interesting news stories, dissect the facts and attempt to surgically remove the spin from the substance. Every week or thereabouts I take a look at interesting stories happening in the photographic world, apply some unaffiliated scrutiny to them and expose the truth behind the headlines. And in this week's show, the Mini 3 Pro gets a major firmware upgrade, two other well-known drone models get a makeover, Adobe showcased the future of Photoshop, a stock library introduces royalties for AI-generated photos, and are you ready for the blood moon? DJI's flagship sub-250 gram drone, the Mini 3 Pro, is already widely regarded as the best all-round consumer quadcopter on the market. And now, 5 months after the drone first debuted, DJI software engineers have unveiled some substantial upgrades to further improve what was already a compelling package. 3 of the new upgrades pertain to one of the Mini 3 Pro's neatest features, that vertical camera mode. Now included in the 0201 firmware is vertical focus track, vertical active track and vertical quick shots. Yes, you can now enable the point of interest and spotlight modes when using the camera in vertical mode, and use vertical active track for automatic subject tracking. Meanwhile, the familiar quick shots have now been upgraded to work in vertical mode too. Droney, rocket, helix, circle and boomerang, no, that's not the members of a particularly shite superhero squad, or indeed a K-pop band, are now all enabled in vertical mode. Gimmicky quick shots aside, there are some great new practical tools for photographic or video work. Continuous autofocus has been added along with shutter priority and ISO priority modes. Other tweaks in this bumper crop of updates are increased dynamic range in hyperlapse mode, a fix to the flickering video issue for D-Cinelight mode, a fix for the vignetting in raw DNG images, and optimizations to the anti-interference technology. Quite often the firmware updates for cameras and drones are disappointing affairs that fix only very minor issues, so it's great to see DJI adding substantial upgrades to what must surely be their best-selling drone. No word yet though on the twitching issue with the camera on the Phantom 3 Advanced. Meanwhile, we're just a few hours away from the launch of the heavily leaked Mavic 3 Classic. DJI promoted the official launch with a photograph showing the familiar Mavic 3 camera housing, minus its troubled telephoto lens. The Mavic 3 will launch just in time for the big Christmas sales rush and join the glut of products that DJI have released over the last month or two. It's hard to say who exactly the Mavic 3 Classic is aimed at, since most of the video quality purists will surely have already bought a Mavic 3 Cine, and many others who choked on their morning coffee when they saw how much the Cine costs will surely have either considered a cheaper hobby or already bought a Mini 3 Pro. Perhaps DJI have created this drone just for me. I'm a Mavic 2 Pro owner who not only choked on his morning coffee at the Cine's price tag, but who was also put off by that useless telephoto appendage. Unlike Potato Jet, iPhone Do, Peter McKinnon, Philip Bloom, Parker Walbeck, Jevon Dovey, Christine and Marquez Brownlee, I haven't found any DJI parcels on my front doorstep, so I'm guessing my early preview product got lost in the post. Joking aside, I'm guessing that the success or failure of this drone to make an impression on the drone market will rest entirely on its price tag, and if DJI hit the sweet spot in terms of price and features, it could be a huge hit. American drone manufacturer Autel Robotics have been busy little bees as well, announcing a suite of new and improved drones. One of the biggest drone markets in the world is, of course, the US, and Autel has the backing of the American government, who have been fighting a legislative campaign against DJI due to its alleged links to the Chinese military. The big news from Autel is the upcoming launch of the Evo 2 V3 series, a drone that will have to go toe-to-toe, or is that camera, with the aforementioned Mavic 3 Classic. Despite a few hiccups, particularly with its sub 250 gram drone range, Autel's drones are steadily improving, and the Evo 2 V3 looks like it will be a decent alternative to the Mavic 3. The Adobe Max 2022 event recently took place in Los Angeles, with the California-based software giant showcasing future updates to its massive suite of creative software applications. As you've probably guessed, many of the future features that Adobe showcased lean heavily into machine learning and expand on existing feature sets. The All of Me tool is an interesting example of these rapidly advancing AI tools. Adobe referred to this as uncropping, since it enables you to extend a scene outwards with AI filling in the gaps. The feature doesn't just work on things like grass and buildings, but can in fact complete missing portions of people. Finally, a solution to the inept camera skills of pissed up relatives always chop the tops of people's heads off in the old family photos. Adobe are also bringing AI features to the creation of composite images with what they're calling clever composites. This feature enables you to add stuff to photos and have Photoshop take care of things like color and shadow adjustments. One of the reasons that most people suck at creating composites is that they don't properly match the existing scene's white balance and light source. And so I have no doubt this will be a popular feature when it eventually gets rolled out. And in a similar vein, the Made in the Shade tool enables you to select a human subject in a shot using AI naturally, and then move them elsewhere in the scene with the software taking care of the shadow's correct direction. These features have been met with enthusiasm everywhere except the UK, where they have advanced beyond object removal tools and can now switch out prime ministers in seconds. The public release of AI content creation tools Stable Diffusion and DALL-E have dropped a bomb on the artistic scene, with talented graphic designers and artists wondering if, like a British Prime Minister, they'll have a job this time next week. But in the excitement to create visually impressive scenes from simple text prompts, one thing got overlooked. These systems use something called machine learning to magic up images, but what the hell do you think they learned on? That's right, real art by real artists. It turned out that the developers of some of these tools didn't bother getting permission from those artists before they built the computer systems that would eventually replace them. Not so much as a reach around. So unsurprisingly, there's been a bit of a pushback in the artistic community, which led to bans on AI images in some stock libraries. And now one of the largest stock libraries, Shutterstock, have made an announcement to improve creative workflows. Turns out that the DALL-E machine learning system was trained on Shutterstock's library of images, something that their contributors may not have been aware of or indeed have approved of. Shutterstock have now announced that photographers and artists will get some compensation for their efforts. If an image is used by the DALL-E system to create a new image, then the original creators will get a cut of any profits from the sale of said image. As to how much the photographers or artists' cut of the profits will be, That's anyone's guess, but I predict that nobody's going to be retiring on the proceeds. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The stock library industry is a shady, grifting enterprise that makes big oil look like an anti-famine charity. And finally, are you ready for the blood moon? This total lunar eclipse, which takes place on the 8th of November, will be visible in North and South America, Australia and most of Asia. And it's always worth a look-see. The lunar eclipse takes place when the Earth sits precisely between the Sun and the Moon, and the Earth blocks out the Sun's light from reaching the Moon. The blood moon gets its name from the reddish hues that are cast upon the lunar surface. Those rusty shades are caused by the sun's light shining through the atmosphere of our planet, and the shorter blue wavelengths get scattered by the atmosphere and only the longer red wavelengths make it through. If you fancy photographing the eclipse, then obviously a lens with a decent focal length is best. Longer the better to best fill the frame. It's easy to overexpose a shot of the moon like this, so make sure you fire up your camera's histogram. Be sure to keep an eye on the right side of that histogram, or you'll end up with a photo that looks like some wanker walked up and shone a torch down your camera lens. And that's all I've got for you this week, guys. Have you got your beady eyes on the new Mavic 3 Classic, or do you prefer not to collaborate with the Chinese military? Are you planning on photographing the old blood moon, or would you rather rearrange your sock drawer? As always, let me know in the comment section down there. And if you like this video, please flick me a like and consider subscribing to add my breathtakingly epic videos to your YouTube feed. Till the next time, guys, ta-ta.